Right, welcome back. We should be live on air now. Welcome to a brand new season of Politics. Season 2.
We managed to get a second season in. Woohoo!
Yeah, well, I still can't find anything about the Brandy Glanville Joanna Krupa law court case. But after we read out on air last time that it was all a damp squib and wasn't happening, even if that's not true, I feel we should just go with it because I said it was true at the time. And I feel a cover-up is much better than the truth. So this is season 2.
You and most politicians, mate. You and most politicians, eh?
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I start the timer, and we'll start talking about politics. If anyone, I mean, no one even watches this, but we still do it because I enjoy it. On the off chance anyone is trawling through the archives of the internet one day, looking for references for
that part of the internet again.
Yeah, well, they're looking for references for A-level politics, and they're like, these two idiots were talking about it live. Yeah, obviously.
I love the idea that someone would reference to see Politics, season 2, episode 3, and they mention exactly 15 minutes and 12 seconds into the podcast about David Cameron and his unfortunate hairstyle. I have no idea. I can't comment. By episode 3, he may have had an unfortunate hairstyle, but I couldn't possibly comment at this stage.
I mean, honestly, as he's a Tory, if he comes on with neon green hair, I would be very, very surprised.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we should.
Like a mohawk.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Or he just came on with wet shaved his head. Just come with a skinhead.
He just comes on and like, George pranked me. He pranked me. George and Boris ganged up and pranked me.
No, I think it'd be his attempt to kind of out common man Nigel Farage, because obviously none of them can drink pints. He'll come on, shaving head, be like, my name's Dave, I'm going to sort the economy out. Shut up, Ed, you mug. Let's move on. I live in London. That's how he's going to win people over. You'll see him. He won't drive around in a Range Rover anymore. He'll be in a transit van.
With the sun on the dashboard.
Yeah. But he'll have removed page 3 so he doesn't alienate any voters.
Yeah, so he's still got the women's vote by... He'll symbolically remove page 3, but still stick the sun on the dashboard in his white van.
Yeah, he'll just stick it in his trouser pocket for later on. But yeah, I mean, the debate, I'm going to have to use air quotes. I'm glad we're doing a video podcast for this episode, because the debate, which wasn't a debate, it was basically like 2 police interviews. It was Paxman just grilling people, just Paxmaning, if that's a verb, it should be.
It should definitely. That's a great word, Paxmaning.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but it just wasn't a debate.
No. It would have been better if it had been Paxman grilling the 2 of them when they're stood side by side. That would have been so much better. Not like a head-to-head debate, as it were, not debating against each other, but Paxman making them both feel really awkward. Like stood next to each other, just because he made both David Cameron and Miliband look really awkward when they were sat there. I mean, I'm just to clarify, I'm not voting for either of them, but I just like to point out that suddenly Ed Miliband, in his responses, he looked electable, which is kind of not what most voters have been thinking for the last couple of years, really. Everyone's thinking, oh, it's not even going to be close. You know, Cameron, he's the incumbent. He's got a record that he can defend, whereas Ed Miliband, he's unelectable. He's Red Ed. He's not the person for the job. And he's come out and he's looked fairly normal, and that's what we didn't expect from him.
Well, this is the thing. It's like I think my opinion on this is against the main grain, because a lot of people are saying that the knee-jerk poll, 5 minutes after on Twitter that Channel 4 did, from what I understand, David Cameron edged ahead in that one. But by the morning, people thought that actually Ed had done better, overall.
Yeah.
But basically, what all the political commentators were saying, which is kind of what I think, is that Ed Miliband seemed to do much better than everyone thought he would, because they're expecting him to be terrible, and he was actually okay.
Yeah.
Whereas David Cameron, they're expecting to be a bit better than okay, and he was between okay and a bit better than okay, so mildly better than okay. But because of Ed Miliband's big surge where people expected him to be, they thought he won. And I'm not entirely sure that doesn't still mean that Cameron won. And B, like I think it was a draw. There was no standout victory really because David Cameron just got completely mugged off by the food banks question,
Yeah.
and then
Well, he tried to. He said that's not the answer. That's not the question. And Paxman was just like, it's the question I'm asking you.
yeah, it's hilarious. Uh, and then Ed come across on a couple of questions as well. He basically he got backed into the corner. And the Paxman was like, "No one really likes you, do they? They think you're weak. They don't think you're very manly." And then
Yeah.
eventually Ed Miliband came back and was like, "I stood up to President Obama. That's some facts for you." And
Yes.
Paxman said, "Oh, actually, that's quite impressive." Like, which
Yeah.
fair enough, it is. Like, I'm sure Obama would be quite an intimidating guy, if he needed to be. He's got quite a big army, but
Yes. It's not small, is it?
I mean, maybe Ed did win, maybe Dave did win. I don't know. To me, both of them seemed very flawed. If anything, it was a victory for the non-major parties. But
Yeah,
that's just my
but I think
take.
in a way it showed Ed Miliband to be human, and a lot of his responses were sort of quite genuine responses, whereas Cameron seemed to be trying to dodge his own record. It was a lot more. It's easier for Cameron in a way in that kind of situation for him to go, well, yes, we got this wrong, or look at what we got right, because he's been in power for the last 5 years. Whereas with Ed Miliband, he was saying, yes, the previous Labour government got it wrong, but this is how we're going to fix what the current government has got even worse and made even worse. So, whilst he didn't have a personal record to defend, he did a very good job of pointing out the flaws in the current government and saying what he was going to fix, which I thought was quite interesting. Whereas,
Yeah, I agree with that.
David Cameron just cracked on and said, yeah, we're going to carry on doing what we're doing. And Ed Miliband sort of pointed out, well, actually, what you're doing isn't quite good enough. So...
Yeah, it is. It is genuinely worrying because I mean, it's not like the Labour plan is like from what they've said is a massive reversal in cuts. The Labour plan seems to be sort of, from what I've been reading, it's like basically stay at the level of cuts we're at now, which a lot of people are saying is going to totally like destroy certain things like I don't want to use the word peripheral, but I can't think of... If you think of like accident and emergency as being the absolute most essential part of hospital and things like that, so it's the things which have probably been added to the health service more recently as like we've realised these things are actually really, really important. Things like mental health, and those are the areas where the cuts are being made. And additionally, things like sort of art in the sort of general sphere, like theatre and all that kind of stuff, that's where a lot of government funding has been slashed almost to zero, which I'm sure is a terrible thing, like in the long run, because if you can't develop artists, pop stars don't make a lot of money, and a lot of them sort of come from that world. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
like it's a bit of an intangible investment, if in that kind of sense, but you can't see immediate effects on the budget, which is probably why it's been done. But the Tory plan seems to be like more of the same, on things which have already been slashed massively, and the Labour one seems to be sort of stay where we are, and like, a bit more tax and a bit more spending in some areas. So it's not a huge difference really.
Yeah, the Tories are cutting corporation tax to 20%. To encourage more businesses, but Labour say that's pandering to big business, whilst letting small businesses sort of flounder, and that they cut rates and taxes for the small businesses, but keep the big businesses, the people who make millions of pounds a year in profit, billions of pounds a year in profit, and keep the corporation tax at the current level, not the level it's just been changed to. Sorry, the previous level, not the level it's just been changed to. So it's going to be there are various battlegrounds for this election, and I think that, especially when it came to the town hall meeting, I don't know whether you saw that bit, sort of the town hall style questioning. I thought that some of the questions that David Cameron were being thrown at him by the undecided voters were a lot more directed and almost personal to him and his vision for the country in the future than Ed Miliband's were. But Ed Miliband gave him the questions that he was asked gave him the opportunity to show himself and his party in a better light than David Cameron did. I think it wasn't against Cameron and his answers, it was more to do with the questions that he was asked, which I thought was, again, quite interesting because they were both, most of them were posed by undecided voters because it was something like a 60-40 split with undecided voters to decided voters. And so most of the questions were posed by undecided voters, which I found quite fascinating, actually, in that they were asking these different types of questions from all walks of life. And I think Cameron came off worse, not because of the answers that he gave, because of the questions he was given.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, a lot of the questions asked by the audience, quite a lot of them were just quite softball questions, which I kind of thought might have been just to make, hello, that's 10 minutes done, just to make it interesting for TV, to be honest, because people do tune in, and unfortunately, I know we don't have a presidential system, but people do actually care about the person they're voting for, even though obviously they're technically not. But yeah, I think it had quite a TV skew, I think, with the audience questions, but maybe that's a good thing. I'm not really sure. I mean, this is only the second time we've had televised debates, so I can't even sit here and go, 10 years ago it was different. It's new, so.
Well, 5 years ago it was different. 5 years ago we knew what we were doing. We had 3 debates. We had 3 leaders. They were all getting involved, and there was none of this sort of, well, I'll get involved in one TV election debate, but I will not have a head-to-head, and I will not get involved in 3 different TV election debates, especially not when I'm stuck next to smelly Nigel Farage. And I just think it's pathetic that Cameron couldn't stand up to Ed Miliband head-to-head. It was pathetic that he's doing this 7-way debate, although what I do find amusing is, they've had to draw lots on the debate for tomorrow night about where they're standing.
Yeah, this is something I wanted to come on to, actually, because I read in the Telegraph, that David Cameron's going to be standing on the right-hand side of the screen, which apparently is really good news for David Cameron. Now, the point I want to make about... here's the thing. The Telegraph article said that apparently that is the best position to be in. And I appreciate that which side of the aisle the chocolate bars are placed on does have an impact on chocolate bar sales in the supermarket. There are certain things where things are placed visually affects how the average human brain interprets them. So I'm not saying, I don't want to just poo-poo this and say that there isn't a best place to stand, but I don't know if it was just because it was the Telegraph, trumpeting how brilliant David Cameron was for him to stand on the right, but I was a little bit more suspicious of the article. I don't know if that makes me sound really bad, because I appreciate that it might well be true. I might look like a complete fool when the science of this we actually bother to read, but I was like, does it really matter? There's 7 people. The only thing I hope they do is what really annoys me when politicians are on TV and they're not wearing the right colour tie. They need to wear the colour of their party for the tie. I appreciate that Nicola Sturgeon and Natalie Bennett, they'll have to have dresses or maybe suits if they're going to wear if they're just going to wear a suit, because obviously women don't wear a tie, then the suit needs to be the right colour. But if anyone turns up not wearing party colours, I'm going to be so angry, because it's genuinely really annoying when you see David Cameron wearing a red tie.
I love the idea of you just angrily tweeting about people's ties during the election debate, just going, "Gah! Why has Nigel Farage turned up in a blooming red tie? Why is he not wearing yellow and purple like his party colours? Grr!"
But that's the thing, because you can buy UKIP ties, so I assume you can buy Conservative and Labour party ties. You must be able to get all sorts of branded merchandise. You can probably get mugs, to be honest. Talking of mugs,
they're sipping out of their Labour mugs. As they bring it up to the bottom underneath the camera, it just says "Vote Labour," and someone would just
or they've got an arrow with Willie just on the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I must admit, I'm sorry, just to go back onto the positioning. If you have a semicircle of people and you have 7, you have 1 person in the middle and 3 people around them. Now, I'm not going to lie, but where I would want to stand in that would be in the middle. I would want to be that 1 person with the three people either side of me, because then you can just stand there and go, "Look, I'm in the middle. I am clearly the most important person. I am at the head of this table, as it were, the head of this semicircle. Why would you want to be anywhere other than right slap bang in the middle?
I think that one of the points, the point they're making is that the right-hand side of the screen is the best place to be. But I can see the argument that being at the edge would be better, because whoever's in the middle is going to look like a meerkat. They're just going to be doing this. And if someone's looking one way and the other person starts talking, like, you'll be able to see how quick their head can snap round. But if you're on this edge, then you look a lot more... I don't know why I look so gangster doing this. Yeah, if you're on the edge... Yeah. If you're on the peripherals of the row of 7, then it means that you only really have to move your eyes. So you're not going to look like a little bit weird and jittery. So I can appreciate that might be a benefit if you just look more composed and relaxed on the peripheries. But,
yeah, but you should not be hearing like that. You can hear the jokes coming already. Look at Cameron sitting happily on the right. You know, Cameron is constantly looking to his right. You know, the jokes there for the Conservative Party leaning on the way to the right wing is sort of they're there. They're
honestly,
right there.
That would have been how I would have done it. I wouldn't have allowed them to draw a loss. I would have done it by where they are on the political spectrum.
So UKIP, far on the right.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're not actually that far right of Conservatives, but like, they would obviously be the most right-hand party. Out of SNP implied, and the Green Party might be more left-wing than either of those two.
Mm.
One of the Green Party policies is to transition us away from a consumption-based economy, which is... I mean, the word used was melons, green on the outside, red on the in. I was like, that's a pretty good analogy. Like, some of what they say is very sensible, but they do appear to have some pretty strong communist policies. So,
yeah, I'm still voting for them.
yeah, I mean, they say some smart things. Like, it's like basically the problem with most political parties is the negative stereotypes you hold about them are true. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people voting for the Green Party who are wearing like hemp trousers and sandals. And, like, you know, it's just one of those things. Like, irrelevant to how good or bad the policies are, there'll be some stereotypes.
But I should be wearing my hemp trousers. I'm sorry, I'm wearing my jeans tonight. Sorry, mate. I should have brought them down.
You're so commercial, you are.
I'm sorry. I need to move away from my consumption-based lifestyle.
Yeah, you do. Get back to the woods. Yeah. Anyway, we should probably talk about what was it? Celebrity gossip. That's the other part of the show I've just totally forgotten about.
Yeah, a bit where we designed this idea to be sort of part politics, part celebrity gossip, because it's like a radio show.
I totally forgot that entire section. I was trying to remember back to the day we discussed it. I remember I woke up, I had some breakfast, probably some golden nuggets because they taste yeehaw, and then I remember phoning you. I remember getting my phone out to phone Higgins, and then I remember putting the phone down, and the middle bit just couldn't remember it. So yeah, that's where I was.
Good. It's like every conversation with me. You'd rather that it didn't happen.
Yeah, you would know, man. You weren't there. But I'm trying to think. The biggest celebrity news. I can't remember when we were on last. It was about 2 weeks ago. I think when we were on last, had Clarkson been fired? I don't think he has.
No, I don't. I think it was before everything kicked off.
It might have been actually. Yeah.
That's how long ago it was. You know, we just for all of our avid watchers out there, we tried to get together and do this last week. But couldn't agree a time because either one of us was doing something. And then we were going to do this Monday, then I forgot. Then we were going to do this yesterday and there was an England football match on.
Which was my fault. I forgot there was a game and I wanted to watch it. It was a decent game actually, 1-1. Townsend's goal was really nice. But this is a football-based podcast, so we're not allowed to talk about it.
That's mine. I'm going to do my blog on it. I'm going to do my blog.
Yeah, I mean, Sorry,
going on to Clarkson. He's been fired, obviously, but they're carrying on with the Top Gear live shows, but they're not calling it Top Gear Live. They're calling it the Clarkson, Hammond and May live shows and removing all BBC branding from everything, which kind of makes sense. And by the way, I fully I fully agree with the. If he hit the producer, I fully agree with him being sacked because that's just a stupid thing to do. It's monumentally stupid thing to do, and if you hit someone, then that's violence in the workplace. I think you should be sacked. But I do find it quite amusing that the BBC will no longer be branding what is essentially a global event with the Top Gear live shows, because they're going to Norway as well. They're going to Belfast, London, Norway, I think Manchester as well. I think they're doing quite a few tour dates. And the BBC, I suppose, you have to be in North Korea not to know who the BBC are, but they're removing all of their branding for it, which I think is a little strange, but I can understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, he hit someone, he had to be fired. Irrelevant to the finances. Even if this wasn't his his last warning, he would have still basically had to go, because it's. I mean, if people have fights at work, someone has to go, basically. It's just not on. And I can see the problem. I did see it online before it got announced they were going to change it to Clarkson, Hammond and May live, but there is a risk of the BBC getting sued if Clarkson wasn't at those live shows, or they would have to cancel them and give everyone a refund. There's events so far in the future, there's so much money at stake, but they had to find some sort of compromise. I mean, I don't know how they're going to remove all the BBC branding. I don't know if it'll just be loads of gaffer tape everywhere, or just a load of black spray. Because physically they're going to have to do it, but I imagine all the banners have been printed in that and been reused, so there's be a load of black spray paint everywhere, just in a sort of general square.
I think you just end up with Banksy drawing the three presenters' faces on it and just go live at the bottom, just sort of hope for the best, really.
Yeah, well, if it is an original Banksy, it'd sell for thousands of pounds, so people just nick it. But
did you see the April Fool's BBC article today?
No, I may have done.
It was about a guy in the Gaza Strip who had an original Banksy. His house had been destroyed, and Banksy had come and painted something on his door. And some bloke had come over, an Iranian businessman had come over and said, "I'll give you $173 for that." And the guy sold it, not realizing it would be worth thousands. But it was a bit of a heavy one today, but it was quite amusing to read.
I mean, yeah, that's not the traditional April Fools. The best April Fools I saw was that Vicky Pattinson, whatever her name is, the one from Geordie Shore, who's going around getting mortal all the time, is Kim Kardashian's new personal trainer. I genuinely thought that was quite funny. That was good stuff.
Did you pull any April Fool's pranks today?
No, I didn't, because I don't know if you can tell, but I've got a bit of a cold. I woke up with a runny nose. I was just like, I don't feel like having any fun today. So I didn't.
So you decided to do this podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not have any fun, let's do a podcast. That sounds like a good idea.
The fun things I've done today is go to the gym, have some Easter egg early, and a bit of gin and tonic.
My sister said got my mum out the shower and said that someone had slashed her tyres. And Mum got changed very quickly, ran downstairs to go and find a picture of Slash, the guitarist, on my mum's tyres. Which was very funny. Oh no.
No, I can still see you. Yeah, that was just my laptop. That was good April Fool's joke there. The only other thing we should talk about is big news for, I'm sure, a lot of our fan base will be worried about. I say fan base. No one has watched this yet, but isn't me checking it online and able to be viewed. Zayn Malik.
Your mum's watching this. Surely your mum's watching this.
No, not yet. I told her not to because I don't think it's good enough quality yet. Maybe if I buy.
That was like on radio show for 2 years.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think part of the issue is that I think we're filming this in 4:3 rather than like old school, like modern 16:9. So yeah. It's a bit of a retro podcast. Maybe I'll start using Windows 98 to upload it. We're internet hipsters. Like, maybe I should refuse to upload it in anything but 240p. But yeah, the big news for no one. Well, apparently this is affecting a lot of people. Is that Zayn Malik has left One Direction.
Don't
I mean,
care.
I was hoping that Clarkson would fill that role because he obviously needs a job now. Clarkson in One
Clarkson on
Direction.
One Direction.
Yeah, and Zayn could present Top Gear, maybe. No, it should be Alan Partridge. But yeah, basically,
No,
loads of people.
no, Rowan Atkinson. Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah, that would be good. But yeah, I mean, people have been quite upset about this whole One Direction thing. People have been crying, which is
Have you
normally what
heard
you
that
do when you're
140
sad.
girls tried to commit suicide over the news?
Are you having a laugh?
No, I've lost all faith in humanity. I'm
I mean,
being dead.
I knew loads of people were crying about it because it's like a boy band and that, but messed
Yeah,
up.
there are some people who went full retard.
The thing that I think's most ridiculous is the day he like quit. Like, I don't know if he's signed on yet, but actually, is he old enough to sign on? Because haven't the Tories frozen like job seekers' allowance for anyone under the age of 22? So I don't even know if Zayn Malik's allowed to sign on. I
love the
actually
idea of
don't know
Zayn
how old he
Malik.
is.
He's now made millions off of being part of one of the most successful boy bands of the modern era, and he's now going to the job centre to pick up his weekly benefits.
Yeah,
I
you wouldn't
don't.
want to turn down
Someone
70
tells
quid a week.
72.
Oh yeah, true. But the thing, it's on the day he quit, I did read the article on BBC News, and he said he quit because he wanted to be a normal teenager. And I was like, to be fair, I can understand that. Like, a lot of people who get famous when they're young and then try and stay in the spotlight, like Macaulay Culkin, just end up on drugs. So I can appreciate why you might want to avoid that situation. But then, like, a day or two after that, he's like, oh, also, I've been releasing I'm going to release some new material I've done with Naughty Boy. And it's like, you want to have a normal life of just being a regular pop star as opposed to one of the biggest pop stars in the world. Like, I appreciate that is technically like a big step down, but it's not exactly normal, is it? Like, I only want to be quite famous.
Yeah, and no, I see your point. It's sort of, I could do this. I could be up there, but I'd rather be there. I'm not coming all the way down to here. I just want to be there. It's not there. Just not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, that's ridiculous how famous One Direction actually are, but he is going to be a lot less famous by just being a pop star. But,
well, do you remember what was it? Paul from S Club 7?
oh
When he
yeah,
left S Club 7 to join the heavy metal band that he'd set up when he was younger. They wanted to do that, and then ended up rejoining S Club 7 because, or S Club 3 as they were.
S Club 3, yeah.
Were you there? Did you see him at UEA?
Yeah, because they said that S Club 3 tend to go to almost every university almost every year. So I have seen him. I might have seen.
Did they go to Miami?
No, I didn't see him at Miami. At Homecoming, we had Lupe Fiasco. Do you remember the guy who did Kick Push? He's really good live, actually. I've rated that. I've got 2 Miami things on the moment. I look like such a college freshman, like school spirit boys. Living life in the fresh lane. That's my.
So we're gonna go down and watch the football game later. You want to come join? Yeah, man, absolutely.
Football. Yeah, I do actually rate football, but anyway, it's unfortunately time for us to wrap up the show.
Oh dear.
Do you want to say anything pithy now that it's at season 2? Like every week, you know, like on TV, when it used to be like, say goodbye, James, and you say goodbye, James, and people are like, this isn't funny. Like, do you want a new catchphrase?
No.
Good catchphrase. Right. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.